Hi, this is Chris from eMedia Design and Development at TUT. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a Collaborate room. Now, you will notice that in my menus, I have placed an entrance to Collaborate Ultra and called it Join Live Session Collaborate Ultra. Click on that, and that will open your Blackboard Collaborate Ultra area. Now, here you have two options. You can either join the course room or create a session. The course room, you can think of it as your general classroom where students can go in and interact amongst themselves. But first, I have to choose the furniture that I want in my course room and how I want to set it up. I can set up the defaults by going to this right Session Options menu, clicking on it, and go to Edit Settings. Under Edit Settings, you will notice a couple of items. You can work your way from top to bottom to set up your course room. First of all, there's a Join Course Room button, and there you can go directly into the course room and your students can enter there as well. In any room, you can set up a guest access, or you can unselect it so that only students can enter this room. If you select guest access, your guest will be able to enter this room by following this link. You can copy this link by clicking on this button, pressing Ctrl+C for copy, and now you've got that link copied and you can email it to anyone that you want involved in this room. This can be to guest lecturers or students that don't have access to MyTutor. You can also set up the default role of a guest by selecting Participant, Presenter or Moderator. We will get into more detail on these three settings in a while. The session settings is the next area, and the default attendees, in this case I would want them to be presenters because I want them to do all kinds of wonderful things and interact with each other. You as a lecturer can make a recording of your session, and this session can be available for downloads by your students by selecting the Allow Recording Downloads tick box. You can anonymize the chat messages. The chat messages is something we will deal with in a video later on. But you can anonymize the chat messages if you want your students to chat anonymously instead of using their real names. The moderator permission is the next option here, and moderator permissions, you can say show only profile picture for moderators, and that will disable your webcam. Participants you can select share audio. That will be their microphones. It's quite a necessity if you want them to chat to each other. Share video, to share screens. So if they want to demonstrate something that's happening on their computer screens, they need to be able to share video. Post chat messages is the next option, and that is using the chat window. And draw on the whiteboard and files, and if you give them permission to draw on the whiteboard, they can make notes on the whiteboard for each other and scribble. You can enable a session to make use of a telephone for students who don't have internet access, but as Blackboard uses an international number, I don't suggest that you do that. You can open private chats so that participants can chat with each other privately and privately with a moderator. And you can also set it up so that a moderator supervises all private chats and thereby screening whatever is happening in the chat window. If you have a session larger than 250 students, which is not ideal, but sometimes you need it to happen, you can tick this, allow 250 plus attendees to join, but you would have to send an email to the MyTutor help desk at mytutor@tut.ac.za so that they can make arrangements for more than 250 students. This is something you would commonly use when you have scheduled a class session and not in the general classroom. Once you are done with your selections, you can click Save. And now, whenever a student goes into Blackboard Collaborate Ultra and goes into the course room, these defaults will be saved.